Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning and thank you for coming.
Good morning.
First, let me introduce myself. My name is Yanti and I'm final year student of English Education Study Program at Halu Oleh University. In this presentation, I'd like to talk about attitude and its impact on language learning. I've chosen this topic because attitude is very important aspect on language learning. According to Fisher, attitude is considered as an essential factor influencing language performance. And attitude can be positive or negative attitude. There are some components of attitude and all of these components is different but actually have a strong relation of each other. And the question here are what is this component and what is the impact of attitude on language learning. Okay, I'm going to divide my presentation into two sections. The first section is the component of attitude and the second section is the impact of attitude on language learning. Again, I will explain this section from one by one. Let's start with the first section. It's about the component of attitude. According to Weden, the term of attitude include three components as ABC. ABC means affective, behavior, and cognitive. And to understand this component, I will explain to you one by one. The first is A component or affective component. Affective component here means feeling that can influence our emotion. According to Azwar, feeling in this component mostly influenced by our belief. For example, when our feeling when we love something or our feeling when we had something. Here means our feeling influenced by our emotion. And the second component is B component or behavior component. Behavior component means here our behavior or our action that can representative our feeling. In the other words, when we doing something based on our feeling. For example, when we think that English is very important, so we will study English. Here we will study English is influenced by our belief. Our belief is English is very important. And the last component is C or cognitive component. Cognitive component here means our thinking, our belief, and our opinion. Or there is something in our brain. For example, when we think that English is very interesting subject, that's our opinion. And move to the second section of this presentation is about the impact of attitude on language learning. Talking about impact of attitude on language learning, of course, talking about learner's attitude. Learner attitude here have strong influence, have strong relation with motivation. Here means if teacher give positive motivation for learners, so it can influence the three component of attitude: affective, behavior, and cognitive. When the student give positive attitude for the learners, so learner will have positive attitude. And positive and negative attitude of learners based on motivation that the teacher give for them. And the conclusion of this presentation that attitude is very important on language learning, and there are three components of attitude as ABC: affective, behavior, and cognitive. And positive and negative attitude can influence whether our learning process will be success or failure. I think enough for my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Question?
Okay.
Please.
You have explained to us about the source of it. When we have a positive or negative attitude, the important role here is as a teacher. So what about a student that has a problem outside of the classroom? For example, their private problem may be related to their family, which influence their way of learning. What is the role of teacher here?
Okay, that interesting question. I think if there is student like here, I think teacher will must often give motivation. I think that's any question.
Regarding just opinion for me, in your explanation, the first just said that the attitude is very important for the learning teaching process. But you just explained about that attitude is influenced by motivation, but you didn't explain about how about attitude and learning process. So I think it is very important to know about what is the attitude, the relation between attitude and the learning process itself. I mean, in detail.
Yes, the relation with attitude and learning process. Yes, I think it based on the lesson or based on the subject. If teacher give the subject it's related with student experience, it's related with it's easy to understand from the student, I think student we will positive attitude.
I don't want to ask a question. I just want to agree with your statement that says that motivation contributes a lot in forming positive attitude on students, because in fact motivation is the beginning of doing something. I mean, when you don't have motivation, you cannot learn or anything.
Thank you for your answer. Okay, thank you for coming. I closing by wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.